So I just wanted to make this short video. This is kind of going to be a channel update and a results of No Name Nationals and an update. It's not going to be much action footage. We got a few action shots from No Name Nationals. I'll kind of go over what happened there and let you guys know where we've been, because we kind of just disappeared off the face of YouTube. There's a reason for that, and we'll go over that in this video. So first, let's talk about No Name Nationals. So we weren't gonna go, then we were gonna go, then we weren't gonna go, then we had the 56 that we're gonna have Richard bring from Colorado, and everything kind of just blew up for us the night before No Name Nationals. The 56 didn't get done. It was just too big a project, and work interfered and life got in the way, and it just wasn't ready. And rather than towing it all the way from Colorado to Missouri just to go and have problems and not be able to get down the track, we decided it wasn't worth spending the money and just left it in Colorado. And hopefully someday we'll get that one sorted out, but it just wasn't going to happen this year, and it wasn't worth taking it to the track to just have nothing but problems. We did that last year, and well, we kind of did it again this year with extra parts, our 1990 Dodge D150. So in the between No Name Nationals time, we were intending to make it more reliable and do some upgrades and do a few things that we wanted to do all along the way. And we did, kinda. So last year at No Name Nationals, we had drive shaft issues. Everybody probably knows that who's watching this, but the overall result, or the cause of that problem, from what I don't know for sure, we didn't have a camera on it, but from the aftermath and thinking about it and looking at everything, what I think was happening is when we were getting ready to go to No Name Nationals last year, you'll remember I lowered the back of the truck, and I did that by taking out some leaf springs. Well, I think I softened the leaf springs to the point where they can no longer control the spring wrap, and so when we launch it, when it hooks up good, the axle twists back so far that it increases the pinion angle beyond the ability of the U-joint to compensate for that, and it was just tearing the caps off the straps off the front of the differential. So I went back and forth of how I was going to fix that, and what I ended up doing was just some cheap homemade slapper bars, and they are limiting the pinion angle increase. But I think they've introduced another problem that I wasn't expecting. And so our first pass at No Name Nationals, Chad and I decided that we were going to make a pass, and we're going to make sure that both of us got down the track and that we both had a successful first run and didn't have to fix anything afterwards. So to do that, we both ran somewhere in the neighborhood of a 15-second eighth mile. We were just messing around. We just wanted to make sure we could make it down the track and have a successful first pass, and we did. I'm being blamed for going faster than we were supposed to, but it felt like we were crawling, so Amber says that I went too fast, and it wasn't obvious from the stand. So if you were there or you've seen that, we were intentionally not trying to go fast. We were just messing around and trying to make sure that we both made it down the track without a problem, and we did. After that, I decided I'm gonna see what this truck will actually do now, and we got all ready and staged, and so I'll put the footage from in the truck as well as the shot from outside the truck in here now. But everything was going really good right up until I foot braked it. And if you watch, when I foot brake it, the back of the truck really picks up high, and I think that is because of the slapper bars are the rear end's trying to rotate, the slapper bars are preventing it, but they're also pushing up on the bottom of the truck, and I think that the springs are weak enough, I guess, and there's not enough weight in the back of the truck to the point where when it does that, it makes the back end of the truck come way up in the air, and then as soon as I let go of the brake and smash the throttle, you'll see that it never really gets the front end up. And I think that's because it has stock shocks on the front and stock shocks on the back. I don't think it's allowing it to get any weight transfer, and the result of that was a terrible wheel hop, and if you look at it, it almost wasn't even in the suspension. It was doing all of it in the tires. But I believe the reason for that is it never really got enough weight on the back to keep the tires planted, and that's why it was doing that. It had a lot better weight transfer before we put the slapper bars on, so I think that's what caused that. It also was running really lean. I just went back and watched the videos. I had about 5,800 RPM in first gear and probably somewhere around 5,500 in second gear, but it was lean. It was pop. You can't really hear the popping, but I could tell that it was lean. So we went back, pulled a plug, and after the run and idling all the way back to our pit, this plug still looked brand new, had no fuel marks on it whatsoever. So, and they weren't new plugs, they were old used plugs, so they should have had some color to them, and they were just white as you could as can be. So we decided we're gonna. Well, I didn't really. So I wasn't planning on doing anything. I was just gonna. With the suspension problems and then the lean problem, I decided that I'm just gonna park it. We're just gonna enjoy the weekend. We weren't planning on making a video. That's why we have very little footage, and we were just gonna have fun and just enjoy the weekend. Well, it never goes that way for me or probably anybody else. We ended up decided we went and we rejetted the carburetors. We took the power valves out because they were too small for the vacuum. When I changed everything was different. So until I started testing, like the day before we left for No Name Nationals, I was going off of what I knew before as far as vacuum numbers and everything, and I set the carburetors up to that number. Well, I also advanced the cam during the off season, and when I did that, that really increased the vacuum at an idle. It went from around 6 to 7 pounds to 10 to 11 pounds. Well, I had the power valve in there, I had a 2.5 in there for the 6 to 7, and while we should be getting below that 2.5 at wide open throttle, I just wasn't sure, and we were running really lean. So I put plugs in it, I jetted everything up, and I went up like seven steps on the secondaries, and I think 14 steps on the primaries. I went from 66, 72 to 80s squared. So a big, huge change. But I didn't want it to be lean. I could handle it being a little rich, but I didn't want it to be lean. So after that, I decided to make another run. And my solution to the wheel hop and the suspension problems was, instead of foot braking it and getting the back end way up in the air, I was just gonna flat punch it from an idle. And it reacted very well. It didn't have any hesitation. It went straight to 4,000, which is where the converter's flashing, and spun the tires a little bit and did a little bit of wheel hop, not nearly as bad as before, but I still think we're fighting suspension problems. But on that run, the lean condition got worse. It didn't get worse. It got better and worse. I think it was better up until the carburetors completely sucked themselves dry. It made it to about, I think, 4,800 in first gear before it started to really like run out of fuel. And I heard that shifted, and it wouldn't get over 4,000 after that. I just don't think the fuel pump was up to the task of feeding both carburetors. I estimated what I thought the motor was gonna make, and I used the fuel pump I had because it was gonna be tight. It was gonna be a little bit, on the small side, but it should have been sufficient, and it's just not. So I either underestimated the power the motor's making, or the volumetric, there's all kinds of stuff that goes into that, and either way, the fuel pump wasn't up to the task. I had another slightly bigger fuel pump, but as bad as it was, I didn't feel like it was worth trying to drain the fuel and change the fuel pump at the track just to put another one on there and go out there and have the same problem. And it's forged pistons, but it's still not real good for going down the track that lean. And I really shouldn't have been running it the way I was, but I wasn't really I wasn't in the right headspace to think about shut this down rather than, keep it planted and maybe it'll fix itself. Wasn't the greatest plan. Wasn't my best, most intelligent moment, but we survived. The truck's fine. It's actually all buttoned up for the winter and in the trailer, which leads me to the other part of this video, which is the channel update. I am in the process of trying to make a major career move, and it's going to be great for me and Amber. It's going to be great for our situation, but unfortunately, it's requiring a ton of effort on my part. And I don't have time to do that, or energy to do that, and keep the YouTube channel going the way it was. So right now we're not on a break. We're making videos as we have to do things, or we need to do things, or things. We're not right now. The red truck is on the back burner. The Fury is on the back burner. The Ram Charger's on. Everything's on the back burner, because with this career change, there's a potential that we're moving. And if we move, we're not getting rid of our place in Alabama. I need to be able to have this place so that it's cleaned up and it can be left vacant for a little while, consuming a lot of my time. We are still gonna make videos. They're just gonna be less frequent. I don't know what those videos are gonna look like, because I don't know what we're gonna be doing. I know that if we're gonna be doing something anyway, and it makes sense to record it and make a video for you guys, we will. Some of that might be how-to. Some of that might be, hey, we're gonna go play with the Ram Charger, or extra parts needs to get out of the trailer and stretch its legs. So we'll make videos if we do any of that stuff. Hopefully this whole career change process will be quick, and we'll know something more in the next couple weeks, and we'll keep you guys updated. Until then, I hope you bear with us and keep watching the videos as we put them out. We'll see you soon.